Good evening, folks. This is Deb and Dave, and this is, for the first time in a while, your weekly wake-up call.
Hello.
And, tonight we're going to talk about the myth of GOP fiscal conservatism, because it's a bunch of bullshit. Here's Dave.
So, for a couple of weeks now, we have been talking about Project 2025 and the Heritage Foundation's plan for any Republican, GOP, conservative, right wing, whatever the hell you want to call them, leader of the free world.
Yeah.
And this is their blueprint. So one of the things that the Heritage Foundation talks about over and over again is how the Democrats overspend. So this is one of the things I saw. And this is from Ken Roberts. We're still on basically the forward for the leadership plan for the Heritage Foundation for 2025. Here is a quote from Ken Roberts. Unaccountable federal spending is the secret lifeblood of the Great Awakening. Let us talk about the GOP for a moment.
Yeah, well, let me just say something for one thing about that Great Awakening thing. Now I get what they're doing, all right? Okay, so the left is woke. So we have the Great Awakening. But the right, they know everything, so they're called the Great Awakening. See how that works? That's propaganda, okay? Propaganda. Go ahead.
Jackie Calms from the LA Times. Fantastic article. This is a way through Yahoo News you can get it without hitting an ad wall. Everybody, Republicans being the party of fiscal conservatism, don't believe it for a minute. Fiscal conservatism was back in the day. It hasn't been around for a very long time. Donald Trump increased the budget and the deficit by trillions of dollars. Now, how did he do that? Primarily through tax cuts. Tax cuts which, by the way, the House Republicans want to expand.
Right. Let me say something. Not tax cuts for you and me.
No.
Tax cuts for the billionaires, which actually the GOP not only wants to expand, but they want to make them permanent.
Correct. Okay. So we have a national debt so big that it'll weigh down the economy for years, partly because of the tax cuts. But wait, Dave, he gave COVID relief. Really? This is a fantastic article, by the way, that the Washington Post did in terms of the quote-unquote COVID money trail and how the Republicans fed some of their donors, fed some of the loyal Trump supporters. Remember those PPP loans, all of that kind of thing. All right. So one other thing I want to talk about is the salaries for each House rep. It's $174,000 a year, which roughly is about $3,300 a week. Because of the House Speaker vote taking as long as it has taken so far, it's been 2 weeks. It'll be 3 weeks come the end of this week. Each week that the House is basically stymied because of this, you're spending, or the the government is spending over $1 million each week on these salaries. They're still getting paid. And one last thing, remember, Rick Scott, he was talking about this great advertising campaign for the GOP back in the day. He spent millions and millions of dollars, and the Republicans are asking where the hell it went. All right? So please spare me the the message that the Republicans know how to spend their money. The Republicans won't waste money on social programs because they don't spend money on social programs. But trust me, they still waste money.
Okay, so let me just give you one more figure.
Yeah.
So since you were talking about salaries, right?
Yeah.
The GOP has been in power now for about 9 months.
Right.
I just did the math. Okay.
Yep.
They have not passed one bill
Right.
that benefits the American people. They did pass their own little version of the Don't Say Gay bill, but that is not going to become law because the fucking Senate's not going to touch it. And if they touch it, Joe Biden's going to veto it. And they passed some other cockamamie fucking law. Oh, they did write the bill already for the tax cut. But most of the things that they do is spend their time on Twitter. And this nonsense with electing a speaker, which, you know, name your fascist is basically what we're playing now. Okay.
Right.
We have paid the Republicans only. I'm not talking about the full salary. We have paid these cretins $26,652,600 since they were sworn into office. That is what we have paid the Republican Party to do. Fucking nothing. Okay,
that's just the Republican Party.
That's just the Republicans. The Republicans. And honestly, the Democrats actually have been working, but they can't even work now because the House is shut down. The first layer of business in the government, the House, the people's chamber is what they call it. The House of Representatives is unable to proceed because the GOP has it shut down. And when are they going to start it again? I don't know, but we're facing another fucking government shutdown in November. So let's see where this takes us. But don't talk to me about GOP fiscal conservatism. Okay.
One more thing I forgot to mention, and we will talk about it in the longer show, is the creation of the border wall, which will cost millions upon millions of dollars. Just the small section that they're talking about building right now. So please, which, by the way, because Joe Biden is abiding by the budget that was set prior, as he is supposed to, he's allowing that money to be spent because that's the rule. But he's already said that wall isn't going to be effective.
And he, by the way, let me tell you this. He already asked the House to reconsider and reappoint the money to other projects, and they refused. So you don't really think the GOP-led House is going to kill the Donald Trump plan, do you? I mean, if you do, then maybe you're not operating on the same plane of consciousness as the rest of us. And by the way, none of this had happened because we didn't have to lose the House. Let me get my last dig in. I'm done.
Thanks, everybody.
In a bit. We'll talk to you in a bit.